welcome back to the Fearless Youth Rotational podcast. We're joined by Natasha Johnson, a leader with over 23 years of experience in community development. She's the founder of Global Entrepreneurs UK, where she designs programs that tackle poverty, build skills, and create opportunities for young people and communities often left behind. As a former board member with the D2N2 Local Enterprise Partnership, Natasha has been an advocate for diversity, inclusion, and ensuring underrepresented voices are a part of regional growth. We're excited to dive into her story, her work, and her vision for the future. Natasha, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here. It's a great pleasure to be here.
That's great. So, can you tell us more about your current roles?
Yes, well, I actually wear quite a few hats, and one of the hats that I wear is founder of Global Entrepreneurs UK, which was formerly Go Digital. Founded that over 23 years ago. It seems like yesterday, but it's actually recent. And I've done a wealth of projects that relate to community building, developing individuals' employability skills, hosting them of volunteers, and also sending them to volunteer in international spaces, different countries. I did a number of European projects as coordinator and also as a partner on other projects. So I've done a lot around cultural, developing cultural programs, but a lot around preventative work as well in terms of youth crime, youth violence. So that's my Global Entrepreneurs hat. And then I'm vice chair of the Ending Youth Violence Network. Got a vast amount of experience in relation to that. Having been based in the Meadows area, which is where I grew up, I started this initiative in that community because I felt like it was the community that I understood the most. And there is a lot of work that has gone into developing positive pathways for young people. So giving them access to opportunities, developing projects in partnership with them so they can lead radio station projects or they can develop projects of sport or cooking. So there's been a lot of cultivating young people so that they actually are able to lead projects themselves. And they also did a European project as well in partnership with another country. So that's my remit around various roles within the community. Another hat that I wear is I'm advisor to the Mayor of East Midlands County Combined Authority. The current Mayor is Claire Ward, and she's been in post since about May 2024. And that remit is relatively new. It's a transition from D2N2, which previously held all of the budgets in relation to governments and then filtered them through to councils so they can run and manage services like business support. It can seem quite complex, but when you look at the big picture, you just recognise that the Mayor is part of all of the local authorities that cover two cities, Nottingham and Derby, because we're now combined as a combined authority. Other cities have this model in place, like Birmingham has it. They have West Midlands Combined Authority. And then there is also Manchester. So on this board, my remit is mainly inclusion and youth, and also giving a wider perspective of what African Caribbean communities face, the challenges, the needs, and also how this can be built into economic policy. So yes, acting as the representative there, which I'm exceptionally proud to do. I'm often the lone voice, but it's a vital voice because without it, we're missing elements of a jigsaw that can't develop and grow economies, and that's definitely on a local and community level.
What do you mean when you say that you're the only voice?
There is very minimal diverse representation. And I think that's for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's about awareness of the opportunities, awareness of the sector. But most importantly, I think it's about people having the confidence to go on to boards and also commit their time to meetings and also get around the policy-driven languages and the reports that often have to be read for you to fully understand, the detail. So there's not many black women there. And when I say I'm quite fortunate, but also very keen to be in these spaces, because I recognise that if I'm the only person of ethnicity in the room, then it's vital that I speak up for the voices of people from ethnic communities, especially that's my own lived experience. So, yeah, that's what I mean.
Can you tell us more about your early experience that shaped your passion for youth empowerment?
Well, I needed my own empowerment when I was a youth growing up in the Meadows, and it was lacking considerably. There wasn't much role models. The main role models that I had was family members, mother, aunties, and I always aspired to never work in a factory. Because there was a lot of factories surrounding the Meadows area where I grew up, and a lot of the parents would work in these factories, mainly the females, the mothers. And my experience was my mother worked at Boots and she would come home crying. So I had this fear of working in a factory and having this experience. So I made sure that that wasn't my destiny. And I did that by focusing on education. It wasn't easy. I had my parents encouraging me to go to university because they knew that I had the aspiration. When I was about 10, I had my own library, and that was based in a cupboard that my mum had given me because I had so many books. So they knew that I was academic, they knew that I was interested in learning more. The environment of school wasn't the best environment. So I've had all of those experiences, and I grew up in an area with lots of challenges. So I automatically knew that the best way to navigate and to come through this was through the academic route and education, and also to empower those that came and resided in the same community. So I was always driven by wanting to support other young people to navigate college education and be employed, because there was a lot of crime in the community where I grew up in. And I knew that there was a lot of talented young people like myself that wanted, but they just basically didn't have that, insight. They didn't have that motivation. And normally they were getting peer pressure as well. So yes, it was always my desire to basically work with young people and to equip them with the skills that I eventually got, but didn't have blatantly, obviously, in my community, in my face.
But do you think that it's a one-size-fits-all situation? Because you said that your way out was through academics, education, but do you think that it would be the same for other youth?
No, definitely not. There are so many ways how you can have success in your life.
Yeah.
And academics is not the only route. That was the route that I chose because
Yeah.
I was enthused by it. But there's the entrepreneurial route. There's creativity. A lot of young people are really creative,
Yeah.
be it through the arts or through the just own vision. My son, for instance, he's really creative with food. You can give him a carrot and he'll get oil out of it. So there is other ways how, you can make a difference and also fulfill your goals and motivations that you have, because everybody has them. But I think one of the key things that I would encourage young people to do is to basically set realistic goals. Initially, have high aspirations, but your realistic goals you'll be able to see the stages and be able to get there. If you set a goal, for instance, I want to be a millionaire,
Yeah.
that's a bit unrealistic if you're living in a community that has got very minimal job opportunities. And I know it's quite challenging for young people to even find their first job now. So, but if you want to be financially abundant, then you need to be thinking about what pathways could you have to get there.
Yeah.
And it might not be that you become a millionaire, but eventually you can be a millionaire. It depends what pathway of you choose. So just being realistic and living in reality, but always having high aspirations and also having goals, I think is vital.
Yeah, I agree. It's always important to have a step-by-step plan. Yeah.
Definitely.
So you're a former board member with the D2N2 Local Enterprise Partnership. How did you approach making sure underrepresented voices were heard?
That's a very good question. My approach was very much so reading, understanding what the perception was of the communities from the local enterprise partnerships view. So I went and looked up all of the research that was focused on the communities that I engage with, which are predominantly ethnic communities, and read and recognised that, oh, we're a bit outdated here because we're in 2017 and we're actually in 2024 at the time. So I brought to the board research that was focused on 2017, and it was missing Brexit. It was missing the cost of living crisis. It was missing things that related to our economic growth and development. Another thing it was missing was COVID, the impact of COVID.
Wow.
Now, because of that, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad I was at the table, because who else would be championing that other than somebody that can actually feel that in their work and communities? I knew that that was basically a reality for our communities, the cost of living crisis, the impact of COVID. So I went back to the board, and it was quite bold, and I says to them, I'd like to convene a steering group that focused on inclusion. And there was quite a few presentations that I had to do to convince the board, but ultimately that was convened. So we had our own board, and I was the chair, and then I asked for training, because on these boards you're often working alongside the leader of the council or the vice chair of the university, or basically people who are used to attending meetings, and I'm used to engaging with community and trying to recruit people to come on different activities. So it was very different. So the training I got prepared me for running an inclusion board. And from that inclusion board, we commissioned research to an academic and another organisation called Be Global, who have got very good understanding of our communities, and they refreshed that research. So now we have an up-to-date picture that basically shows the state in terms of entrepreneurs and also people's living situations and their aspirations, and that is up to date. It was done in 2024. Now, the plan was to feed that into regional strategy. So with the combined authority, they're currently developing what's called inclusive growth. And a number of cities have done it, and it's yielded some positive results. So our plan was to link this research into inclusive growth and also East Midlands County Combined Authorities priorities. However, we're still working on that because there is elements that haven't been fully embedded into the future priorities for communities. And one of the things that I'm championing now at board level, at advisory board level at MCA, is the fact that this research needs to be brought in, and we need to also continue doing more research. And you was at the recent conference that we had with Dr. Martin Glynn. I think it's vital that our communities consider developing a research hub, because if we continuously researched, we'll be never knowing who we are, and we really need to know who we are, where we're going, and what direction are we going to take. So it's really important. So the one size fits all, I think we really need to do some updating and reflection and looking at our communities and saying, you know, what is it that we need, and making a plan for that.
Well, you know what, from what you're saying now, you're making strides, so you should be proud of yourself. Even
Thank
though
you.
there's a far way to go, you've still come far as well. So tell me more about Global Entrepreneurs UK and what gap did you see that led you to start it?
Well, Global Entrepreneurs UK used to be Go Digital, and Go Digital was founded to address the digital divide. So 23 years ago, nearly 24 actually, 24 years ago, I sat down in a council office thinking, I worked for the council, and I was thinking, the digital age is coming. My community is going to be left behind. We're going to have no computers. And I was thinking, well, I knew that we was going to have self-scanning. I studied that at university. I knew that everybody was going to have to use a computer to fill in a form. So, but I was aware that the community that I was part of didn't have a computer in sight. And there was very limited skills about even how to navigate a keyboard. So I'd not long had a child, and it was my first child, and I really wanted to be there for school run. If he was ever unwell, I could just automatically go and fetch him, or even school holidays, be interactive with my child. So I thought, set up a business, because then I'll have more flexibility. And I set up a business, applied to the Home Office for funding, and the first funding bid I got was successful for 3 years funding to develop a training centre in the Meadows. So that's what I did. I was exceptionally proud, and so was the community. So they supported me with volunteering, with laying the floor, decorated it. And basically I had this fully fledged training centre that was resourced and funded for 3 years from the Home Office. And they continued funding various activities and projects for a period of 9 years. They were my biggest supporter, and they really did see the vision. I basically sat down one day and wrote about how young people in the Meadows have aspirations, but then there is no
Resources, yeah.
Yeah, and as a result, and role models, and as a result, so we need that locally, a centre that is operated by parents, young people, and young people can come and get guidance, but also parents could upskill, because there was a lot of manual workers. We had all the factories surrounding our community. So a lot of people worked at Port Farms, or they worked at Boots, or they worked at these manual picking places, but didn't have no digital skills. So when I sit down and think about it, it's quite innovative what I did over 2 decades ago.
Amazing.
Be thinking about my community in terms of digital skills. So a lot of individuals have benefited, and various people came from different parts of the city. And then I thought, you know what? I went to Jamaica and I thought, they need it here.
Wait, it's in Jamaica as well?
It is.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
So in 2013, or prior to that, about 2010, I went to my first Jamaican diaspora conference in Montego Bay. And it was just a remarkable experience. I linked with various groups and individuals from America, Canada, Jamaica, and the UK. And we were all diaspora. We were either born in Jamaica and living in different areas, different countries, or we were actually second generation. So my parents are Jamaican, but I was born in the UK. But I always longed to know about Jamaica, and my parents would bring me there. But on a business level, I'd never explored it and never looked at the community side of it. But then when I did, I recognised, you know what? We need a Go Digital there. So I set up an overseas branch. And that wasn't easy, because Jamaica has its politics. And there were
I
some
can imagine.
long waits
Yeah.
in offices, long queues.
Yeah.
I had support from the British High Commission though. So they helped support and navigate the various offices I needed to visit, because nothing was digital. It was all manual papers.
Yeah, of course.
But I got it, and I remember it was on Valentine's Day 2013, and I thought, oh, this is what I love. It was basically the certificate of incorporation, but on Jamaica Company's house. So yes, we're in Jamaica, and we've done a few projects there. mainly women focused because there is a teenage pregnancy challenge there, and there is economic hardship and poverty. We've done some around food poverty, and we also done some around resources for babies. So I worked with the Women's Centre, which is a Jamaican organisation in every parish, which supports teenage pregnant women or girls in some cases. And we've sent baby resources there, and I definitely aim to do more in the future because Jamaica's one of these places where they just really appreciate the support, and they do volunteer, but they don't really see it as volunteer, they see it as just helping.
Yeah.
But it is volunteering, and I'd like to do some more structured programs there in the future.
That's amazing. So how is Go Digital today, and what are, well, you've just told me some missions or goals for the future, but what are you looking to do maybe in the next coming years?
So we was doing a lot internationally, and it was really beneficial for our young people in the UK. But since Brexit, that has quite dwindled quite a bit. But I do intend to reinvent that, but in a different way. So we used to do a lot of youth exchanges, taking young people out of communities in Nottingham. Even if we took them to London, sometimes it was the first time they'd been to London. But they were engaging with young people from other countries. So we'd do a mobility, say to London from Nottingham, but then we'd have French young people and Spanish young people joining us in London. And we did a really interesting project, which I'd love to recreate and probably will do in the future. We took them to Hyde Park and gave them a topic and made them be, because Hyde Park has got Speaker's Corner. So they were in Hyde Park Speaker's Corner, 3 different countries of young people all talking about a specific topic.
Oh, that's interesting.
The topic was, yeah. It was really empowering for them because not only did they plan what they were going to say, they took it in turns because they were all in groups. So they each was able to communicate about this topic. It also made them aware of Speaker's Corner and their right to freedom of speech. But as well, they learned so much about different countries.
Yeah.
And the plan was to take them to the other countries as well and do, because Speaker's Corner is an international thing. So our Speaker's Corner is the Brian Clough statue in Nottingham. So we could try it and test it on a local level and then expand it to others. But the good thing that I think is quite good for us is in the future we can look again at the routes for international mobility for young people, because I think that is really empowering. It gives them a different perspective because they're in another country, but also it makes them realise that where they reside is just a dot on the map.
Yeah.
And opens up their mindset. I mean, I took young people to London and also sent them to do volunteering internationally because we were accredited to send and host as well, volunteers. And they have moved out of Nottingham. So it actually allows young people to have that autonomy. These were people that were peer pressured, often in gangs, definitely had criminal convictions, and yet from doing an activity, it made them recognise that, you know, there's a wider world out there. And I'm quite proud of that because it's, you know, instrumental to show people. So I didn't have many role models growing up in the community, but now I've become the role model that individuals need to see. So definitely the international work, 'cause I love travelling. So international projects, without a doubt. We're recently I've been to the Middle East, so there's lots of scope to do work with there because their young people as well are very keen to come to the UK. So I'm definitely going to be doing work on that area of the world. Also, just developing our centre, because we have a centre in the Meadows which we've had for over 20 years, and we're at the point where we're renegotiating our lease. We had quite a negative experience recently, but that all seems to be very positive, going in the right positive direction. And these things happen, and I think they're mainly there to test you.
Yeah.
But I think it's, again, we've proved our resilience, we've proved and demonstrated that we're not here just as a fleeting project. We're here for the longevity. We're creating legacy here. It's vital that our young people see us consistently.
Yeah.
So that they can say, I aspire to be, not necessarily Natasha, but I aspire to be a pilot. Mm-hmm. And I was able to ask global entrepreneurs, go digital, how? Or I aspire to create my own project. And I got the support from this agency. So I think it's really important that we're visible in a space that's community-based, in neighbourhoods that don't necessarily have a wealth of resources and opportunities. And that way we can basically continue doing work. We get a lot of inspiration as well from young people. They tell us what they want.
Yeah.
And then we say, we've had radio stations come from them, baby banks. So again, it's drawing on the creativity and innovation of young people because they've got some amazing ideas.
I'm very excited about what you'll do. It's also interesting. So you've told me quite a lot about your programs. So how do you measure success when it comes to tackling issues like poverty, digital exclusion, or youth employment?
That's a really good question.
I think you've answered it even with that individual that you mentioned who moved out of Nottingham. That is a success story in itself.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think there's many examples. For instance, I'm meeting my fellow director today. I've known her for about 15 years, and I know she won't mind me saying this, but she came from the job centre as a referral to me to support, to give her skills in admin, and she wanted to admin jobs, but she didn't have no skills or nothing was on her CV, and she's director of our company.
Wow.
So through her work with us, she is able to do all the training courses, the accredited training courses. Then as we've seen the potential in her, we employed her, sent her on more training courses. And as a result now, she's gone to an external company and she's high flying there as well. The good thing is that her loyalty to us has allowed us to keep somebody that we can say from job centre to, she's office manager, but she does a lot of things internationally and she feeds that back to us and into our remit. So she's a shipping expert, so she knows about when we're shipping containers to Jamaica, all of the processes in relation to that. Mm-hmm. And she's also aware of things like the transition from volunteering to employment, the transition from a job centre to an agency. So we've got all of that in-house sort of awareness. But equally, there's other young people and I think motivators. Like yesterday I was in the Meadows and I've seen quite a few people that I was engaging with and just updating them about our plans and our future plans and etc. And it says, Natasha, if you ever need us to come to a meeting, we'll be there. If you want us engaged in the project, I will help you volunteer. And there's constantly that sort of, putting themselves forward, which I think is motivating in itself because that alone allows you to think, well, I have the support, I have the necessary support. So, I'm quite confident that in the future we'll be able to do some great activities driven by input from the community, but also our own awareness of what is necessary to help support people.
Okay, amazing, as usual. What barriers do you think are still holding young people back, though? And what do you think can be done to break these barriers?
I think even from when I was, a young person, I'm a mature person now, but when I was a young person, the main barrier I think is confidence and self-belief. I think a lot of the time that's knocked out of young people. I'm really against young people having no opportunities, because I know there's a wealth of opportunities out there for young people. It's about whether they're visible or not. So I like young people to be confident and self-assured, but I know that a lot of the time they've had experiences which knock that. So definitely believe that confidence can be a barrier, and has been since I was young to present, but also the visible opportunities. So if we have communities that have no job clubs, nobody supporting young people with youth matters, or even just advice. Sometimes young people just need advice. Then we've got a challenge there because we don't actually have that advocacy. And I know that there's a lot of support online, but then we've got other challenges like data poverty and poverty in itself, or even accesses to resources like smartphones, tablets, computers. Not everybody has them, or not everybody has credit even. So we've got the issue of poverty. I think as well, there is challenges as well with us knowing our identity, having that awareness. I've had to go personally on my own journey of knowing who I am as a Jamaican, having Jamaican parents, being born in the UK and being grown up in the UK all my life. But then when I go to Jamaica, I'm called English. But when I'm here in the UK, I could potentially be told to go back to where you come from.
Yeah.
So it's about my identity. Now, thankfully, I've built a strong identity because I had a father that constantly listened to Bob Marley. So I know all those songs, and I know they're very empowering. And I also am very, I love my Black history. I just think, you know, if young people were able to focus on that more, then they would have the resilience and the confidence to be able to do anything. Because there has been so much strength that has come from that. And you don't even have to come from that particular region or country to claim it. So I really do think that it's just empowering. And I think that identity is a big part of what's missing in terms of people feeling comfortable and secure and safe with themselves. And just not listening to the sort of stereotypes and negativities that are often bantered around to bring down your confidence. And I think it's a constant thing. You have to constantly do it. It's not something you can just do, you know, I'm going to do it today and I'm not going to do it till next year. This is something you have to do daily, or even weekly, but build it into your life so that, you know, you've built up that resilience to know, I know who I am and I know where I'm going. And these are the steps that I'm going to take to get there. And I can see in the past that others did it and those were their steps, but this is the way how I'm going to navigate it. And just have that vision. I'm very much a person that believes in, if you can see it in your vision and mind, then you can definitely achieve it. So that's what I think is the most key thing in all of this: identity, confidence, and self-belief.
Amazing. Okay, so my final question for you are, wow, I think you've actually answered all my questions.
Oh.
Yeah, well, these are questions that I've had, but you've actually answered them already.
Okay.
Okay, so I will ask you, it might be a little bit personal, but I saw on LinkedIn that you posted, I don't remember if you posted that you were at Nottingham Carnival or that you wanted to go. I wanted to know your thoughts on Carnival in the UK, because a lot of persons, I won't say the demographic, but they see it as just something that's promoting violence and waste in the communities in Notting Hill. I don't know if it's the same issue with Nottingham Carnival, but a lot of persons don't actually know that the carnival was derived from a protest back in the 90s, from the Windrush generation. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on the whole carnival discourse.
That's a very good question. It really is. I love celebrating all different cultures, be it Muslim culture, Christian culture, and also African and Caribbean culture. So Carnival, as far as I'm aware, and my understanding, originated in Trinidad and Tobago. They're the ones that created the steel pan.
Yeah.
They're the ones that basically
Created soca music, which is the music that's being played.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Carnival actually starts in February and goes around all of the Caribbean islands. And it's based on crop over. It's actually based on them stopping planting. Crops are over.
Yeah.
Crop over. Not many people know that in the UK. They think it's based on partying,
Yeah.
rearing, and
Yeah.
yes, that's an element of it, but there's a whole history behind Carnival. And I think the Carnival organisers of Nottingham need to engage the community, because at the minute they're on the peripheral. And Carnival isn't about, the opinions of others raging in on what is deemed celebration. Because Carnival is a way of expression through costumes, through music, through food, and celebrating. That's what Carnival in the Caribbean is.
Yeah.
It's not stalls, it's not rides, it's not, gatekeeping. It's basically expression. So we need to revisit. And I think as a Caribbean community, it would be great for us to basically come together and say, what is our understanding of Carnival, and educating our young people about it.
Yeah.
Because some of them don't get to go to the Caribbean. And me and my children were fortunate enough to be able to go to the Caribbean and go to the different carnivals if they're on. Jamaica hardly celebrate Carnival because they're always partying. So they don't even see it as, but they have Carnival in Jamaica. Barbados love Carnival. Trinidad, that's their
Carnival
bag.
capital. Yeah.
That's right. You go to Trinidad's Carnival, you're bound to know what Carnival is.
Yeah.
But we've also got other elements that come out in Carnival as well, like Jankono. So
Yeah.
there's different things that will teach individuals elements, and we're in the UK, it's just seen as a sound system, some artists on a stage, and let's just dance through the streets. And it's more than that. It's very, it's our ancestors expressing when they were under conditions, under less favourable conditions.
Yeah.
And it's their expression, their way of expression. And they got so many days to do that. And then when the crops were over, they then got the crops over. And we do the same thing with funerals as well. I've seen it for funerals, like a carnival, and Emancipation. I've been to Emancipation Festival in Jamaica. It's like a carnival there. So all the time we're celebrating, and that's how we celebrate: costumes, dances, different expressions. It needs to be understood in the UK. Then we can revisit the scope of Carnival.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair for us to be in the position where we've got minimal resources. This is what I have noted. We've got one of the communities that's been so long standing in the UK, we've got the most minimal resources. And yet when we have events that celebrate our culture and our legacy, they're deemed trouble. And we don't have anything much.
Yeah.
We have, us and our motivations and our aspirations. We don't have landmark buildings and, ongoing yearly. We have Carnival, which is like once. We have maybe Black History Month.
Yeah.
These are not ongoing things. And I don't think it's fair for other cultures to then wade in with, objections, because that's not what's being done to other cultures. So I think it's a bit unbalanced. And I really do think that in order for us to fully appreciate Carnival, we need to understand its origins.
Yeah. I definitely think that we've lost the plot of Carnival a bit as well.
Agreed.
It's more so about, the partying aspect, and rather than the history of it.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
And I think as well, there's other carnivals that do demonstrate what a carnival should be. Birmingham's a great carnival. Bristol, Leeds, amazing carnival. London, I understand it's a bit congested, but that's because it's grown so big. That's not
Yeah.
that's not a negative. However, I wouldn't go to London Carnival because I don't think it's managed very well in terms of the streets and the crowd.
Yeah, I understand.
But Leeds, I'm planning for next year. Nottingham, I'll go because it's local, but I am opposed to the charging. I don't think it's fair to charge.
Yeah.
So there is a few factors which either keep you engaged in Carnival or not. I know people that won't go because it's location changed. I think we need to revisit the whole Carnival and also engaging people in helping to organise it so it's not just driven by the same organisers because we'll just get the same thing. Yeah, but it's an expression of our culture and it's a beautiful thing.
I'm really glad that you brought up the part about John Canoe because I attended Notting Hill Carnival this year.
Yeah.
And there was actually a gentleman in that attire costume. And there were like young people laughing and saying, oh, what does he have on? And I was very shocked because I'm just thinking, oh, they don't understand that this is also a part of the culture. This attire, this costume, that's what they call it, and they're laughing at it. Yeah, it's a part of the culture. So it was just very interesting to me. Yeah. But
I think it all comes back to identity.
yeah.
If you don't know what your identity is, you will be laughing at things that are strong elements in your culture.
Yeah.
Which is why it's really vital that we let young people know that that dot, there's many more dots.
Yeah.
And it's about looking elsewhere to increase your cultural awareness. And yeah, I think it's something that definitely will happen.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Welcome.
It was a wonderful conversation.
You're welcome.
Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.